I know what a lot of you are thinking. You're thinking, okay, I'm about to dislike this video because it said that I might, or maybe I should, skip Blue Demon Meliodas. That's absolute insanity. That's absurd. That's ridiculous. No way in hell would I do that. But bear with me. We're going to be coming from a very analytical standpoint. We're going to be talking about some more in-depth things here that you might not have heard before or really heard people kind of break down. It may change your mind. It may not. Now, granted, the title of this video may or may not be what I even personally might do, depending on how he actually is introduced into the game. Things have changed quite a bit on the global side compared to the JP and the Korean side. So we have to understand that. We have to come from a logical standpoint as well, that global is creating new meta teams that were never ever meta on JP, because we're able to do further testing and more testing because, well, on global, we're spending a lot more money. Granted, there is a lot of free-to-play players on global, but there's also a lot more whales. Let's be honest here. We gotta call it how we see it. We made over $9 million in revenue in April, and that's not probably including the ad revenue that they're making from all the players from doing your daily ads for your daily summons, for your wheel of misfortune, as I usually like to call it, and obviously your SR chest as well. So that's like, what, seven or more ads per day per player that's actively playing and doing those. So that's a lot of money coming in on the global side. So because of that, new metas are being born. New characters that were once forgotten or never really even given the time of day are kind of coming out of the woodwork and being utilized to their best efforts and making some really cool and new unique metas for not only PvP but in PvE as well. Kind of recently with how great Red Jericho is, how much people are really starting to understand how good Blue Deanne Matrona is, etc, etc. With that all said, we're going to talk about how good Demon Meliodas is, because in no way am I saying he's a bad unit. I'm just saying that he might be a bit overhyped, especially with the way he might be released. Might, keyword might, be released, especially with the new rumors and leaks that are floating around of what's to come that I unfortunately can't fully talk about here because of my commitment to the program as of right now with Netmarble. But you'll get a good idea of kind of what I'm coming at here, or, you know, kind of pointing to rather, as we go through the video. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, Knight of Wrath, Blue Demon Meliodas, Tough Will is his passive, aka his unique. When the hero has 4 or less ultimate move gauge, the hero's attack skills cannot be disabled. So obviously that's going to be very good against a very, very meta unit in Gulthur who has attack skill that he will utilize quite often. He inflicts pierce damage up to 250% of attack on all enemies. That is really his bread and butter skill, and the reason why is because the unit he will be, you know, paired up with at some point, either before or after, depending on said character's release, which is, if you haven't known by now, is Blue Lilia. So that pierce is going to be very, very vital to how good he really is for doing that AoE cleave, which is pretty much what he's there for. You can see here that his base attack stat is 550. He's got almost 3,900 combat class, so a very nice combat class. HP 6400, 320 defense, 40% base pierce rate, which is double what Hauser's base pierce rate is, which means on that rank 3 skill, he's going to be pushing 120%, which is very, very good. And, you know, that's kind of what makes him tick. That's how he works. Now, Darkness Flutter, his corrosion AoE, inflicts corrosion damage equal to 20% of max HP on all enemies for 3 turns. That's, of course, at a rank 3. Now, granted, depending on if you want to run the full just burst AoE team, you might not be running Gulthur. And without Gulthur, you got to understand, getting these rank ups are going to be a little bit more difficult. Now, you probably will early on be still running Gulthur until we get a unit down the road like maybe Easton that can be a very good substitute for Gulthur and do a lot of crazy buffs to assist in Blue Demon Meliodas. And you might also want to try to run Blue Jericho in the back for that additional damage, because you're probably going to be running CC food, go first, and just cleave. That is really the objective here. So you have that going on. With his combined attack with Merlyn, he inflicts weak point damage, the exact same skill of, I should say, the exact same ultimate as Red Demon Meliodas. So not really much there to talk about. And that's really that's there. So his corrosion is okay. It's decent. His ult, we already know what that looks like. Red Demon Meliodas has the same. His passive is pretty decent if you don't ult rush, because, you know, really, you don't really need ult rush with him anyways. But it is good to have dupes in him so you can go first, because that's a big factor on global compared to JP. Bigger spenders, more spenders means you got to get your CC up a little bit higher than the average, because obviously, especially in ungeared, people are just going crazy on cosmetics. They're going crazy on dupes, etc., etc. And so, you know, you want your CC to kind of be a little bit within that area, that range, so you're not completely getting left in the dust there. So that is Blue Demon Meliodas. Now that you know what he can do, you need to know one thing. Unlike Red Demon Meliodas, he's not very self-efficient. He absolutely needs Blue Lilia to actually be at his max potential. Otherwise, he's just an over-glorified farmer. And I know that might not sit well with some of you, but let's be honest. That's all he is. He's an over-glorified farmer by himself. With Lilia, he can become a cleave machine. So she elevates him. Lilia by herself is still a machine. So, in hindsight, if you want to compare one and the other directly, Lilia is better than Blue Demon Meliodas. Period. Blue Demon Meliodas by himself is probably a little bit worse than Red Demon Meliodas, because at least he is self-efficient. Okay, so hopefully you guys understand that. I'm not trying to yank off Blue Demon Meliodas like a lot of other people are. I'm telling you the hard truths here. He's an amazing unit. He has potential to be more amazing with Lilia, but if he's by himself, or if the meta changes in a way to where he's getting hard counter right out of the gate, which we're going to go into in a moment, then he's really just an overglorified farmer. And that's just the reality of it. And I'm just trying to be brutally honest here. Sorry. But yeah, that is the situation that I kind of find myself in when I actually look into this character more and more. The deeper I dive, the worse it kind of looks. Now, let's go ahead and look at a unit that is also rumored, aka leaked, to be coming soon. This has been kind of floating around the rumor mill, leak mill, for about a couple weeks now, and that is Mage Lilia, Green Lilia. Now, we did see what a lot of players like to dub her as on Global, Moonlight Lilia. You Epic 7 fans out there, you'll understand. She was actually in the new collab story, so a lot of people were expecting a Lilia to be there as well, like she was on JP. Obviously, as Global has been tending to do, they're changing things up. And she could or could not be in her own banner. Perhaps, possibly, maybe, small sliver of a chance, whatever you want to call it. Sprinkle some fairy dust on that, I don't know. But pinch of salt, perhaps, might be a better way to put it. She could be here next week, or the week after. It's going to be very soon from what I can tell. But these are mostly assumptions, and we don't want to go by that, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, Mage Lilia could be dropping, and Green Mage Lilia is an amazing unit. Don't get it twisted. Yes, Blue Lilia is amazing. She's the talk of the town. She's the hype. But, you know, Global's been doing us quite a bit. We've been having these banners where we're just, that might be coming, and that's just the talk of the town. Green Escanor, Gother, alright? And now it's Lilia. You know, what's it going to be next? You know, it's a rinse and repeat cycle that's never going to probably end until, of course, we are actually caught up to JP. But we'll see what they do in the future. But yeah, Mage Lilia can actually decrease attack-related stats by up to 40% for 2 turns. Very important against a very cleave-heavy blue team with Blue Demon Meliodas. Her passive ain't nothing slouch at either. Decreases all enemies' attack by 16%. That is huge. Especially if you're running another unit in the back, which we'll get to in a moment, which will really make your team pretty damn tanky against a cleave team, such as Meliodas. Alright, her skill 2 decreases damage taken by all enemies by up to 50%. So she is 100% a tank. And she's a tank support. She also has a 40% resistance, by the way, and 60% crit defense. So she is no slouch. She is not going to be just a quick go in and kill and be done with it. No, if she starts getting her cards off, she can be a real pain in the arse. And when we talk about some of the other units you can run with her, oh boy, does it get pretty crazy. Her ultimate inflicts damage equal to up to 525% on all enemies, decreases skill ranks, then depletes ultimate move gauge by the number of skill rank decreases. So you've seen a similar ult like that from our boy Hauser. So there you go. Good stuff. Moving on. We've got units already in the game that people have already invested into and already have built up. You've got Green Farmer Bond, Coin Shop Bond, whatever you want to call him. He has those extorts, which you already know are pretty pain in the butt. Could do a lot of damage to an AoE cleave blue team. You've got Hawk and Elizabeth. If you're wanting to run your own variation of a green Pierce team with like a Hauser, for example, in that mix as well, or even green Escanor. That team I've seen quite a bit in the higher ups in geared PvP. So don't sleep on green Hawk and Elizabeth. By the way, she's an easy 6 out of 6 and maxed out character. So building her up is not that bad. Moving on. Our boy Escanor, green Escanor. He is in literally 99.9% of PvP teams in geared and ungeared, and most of them that I see in the higher ups are 6 out of 6. And that is no joke. You run blue Demon Meliodas with a blue Lilia, and you for some reason don't go first, that Escanor is going to tear you a new a-hole. He's going to gape you. He's going to gap you. He's going to just flat out wreck you. And he's going to be already well built up because a lot of people want hard for him. So, again, there's a lot of characters in the game already that people can utilize to counter this blue Demon Meliodas. And that's even before we even get Red King, which you already know, Red King, his passive completely shuts that team down. Alright, Gil Thunder, another good one. You can run this with green Lilia and Escanor. And green Merlyn, which we're going to get to her in a little bit as well. Another unit that's an easy 6 out of 6 that people can build up, put in their team. Boom. Easy. You pair that up with Lilia, green Lilia's, 16% down on attack. Jesus. Plus her defense down and all that other stuff that she does. Or attack down cards. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So another possible build that a lot of people are already going to be thinking about running. Green Jericho is a good DPS option alongside Escanor. Is Jericho going to make a return? She can go in there, use 2 cards, and 2-tap blue Meliodas. Easy. And if you build your Lilia in geared wrong, if you go attack and defense like some of you want to, instead of HP and defense, she's going to tap you too. So these are units that are already in the game that people have already built up and invested into and got the 6 out of 6, already got gear built for, are using on a day-to-day basis. And you're talking about going hard for a unit that a lot of you might be lucky to get 1 out of 6 that's going to go into this game thinking that you're just going to cleave everyone like you see JP players doing, but all these green options are available to shut that team down. So when you think about it more and more and more and you get deeper and deeper into the nitty gritty, it makes me just feel less and less like I want to actually summon for Blue Demon Meliodas, and I just want to summon for Lilia, and that's it. Because at least in PvE, she's also a beast. Where Blue Meliodas is just a glorified farmer. And I already have Hauser, who I can get with gold coins anytime, and 6 out of 6 him I already have, but I'm just talking from a broader player perspective. And he does the job just fine. So it's like, yeah. And if I want to get a really strong Meliodas for PvE, I would just probably go to the coin shop and get Red Demon Meliodas. So yeah. Now we also have Green Meliodas. Yes, Green Meliodas, the one that I hate most times. But hey, he can make a resurgence to the meta in an AoE cleave team. You go ahead and you put on his counters and then ba-bing! Build him with HP defense to make the most use out of his counter and let the boy go off. He might have some fun. Hey, and a lot of you re-rolled for this guy, so hey, might as well get some use out of him, right? Alright, we've already talked about this girl earlier. What doesn't Merlyn do? She's another one of those units that you also, kind of like Escanor, you see in like 99.9% of people's teams now. Especially considering she's in the coin shop, so you can build her up, you can get her, and you're going to use her for almost everything because her skill set is so versatile. And again, her barriers with a green Lilia, with a Gil Thunder in the back, with your Escanors, hell, even with your Gother if you want to run in there for the rank ups, you have a lot of things that say nope to damage, especially from blue units. And then we have, obviously, Valenti. Now, this is a unit, I have no idea when they might drop her, but when she drops, you might as well just throw her right into that other pool of crazy green units that say nope to damage. And I'm not going to do a full review of her right now or talk about her because I have no idea when she's going to come. Because of the rumors and leaks, she could be coming soon too, which would be kind of crazy. There's been speculation of a possible 100-day, air quotes, 100-day banner coming soon. And her face was somewhere around in that region of that event celebration. So who knows? Who knows? But I'm not going to talk too much about her, but she's another option alongside Red King. Obviously, Green as the Rose is going to be beast down the line, but those are all units. I have no idea or timetable when the release is. But hopefully, I changed some of your minds on, being a little bit more realistic with your expectations with Blue Demon Mellie Otis. You heard that he was good. You saw YouTube clips of him being good. But understand that Global is doing things a lot differently. We're creating new metas. We already have a lot of units that we can utilize. We've already built up. We've already spent diamonds, money on to build up and make amazing that we use on a day-to-day. This guy, if he's not working in PvP as advertised, he's going to be an overglorified farmer. And I don't think anybody wants to invest in an overglorified farmer. So, it's not to say he's bad, but let's think a little bit more logically on how good he really will be when he first releases and how much options we really have to possibly counter this team already to make it, is it worth going hard for him? I don't know. I'll leave that to you guys and gals to decide, but for me personally, at the moment right now, he's looking like a hard skip. And what I mean by hard skip is I love the character. I like what he can do. But I got to think from a long-term perspective, is he going to be a unit that really fits for me compared to all the other options that I could run, especially if I just want to counter him? There you go. Hope you guys all enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, take notifications, join us in the Discord, in the description below. If you guys want to play the game in beautiful full screen on BlueStacks to help the channel out, use my free affiliate link in the description below. And again, if this video was insightful for you and you want to see more videos like this, me breaking things down, let me know by liking the video. Comment below what you guys think. Have I opened some eyes? Are you still going all in for Meliodas just because? Let me know all that and more, and I'll be glad to read as many as I can and reply to some. Until next time, peace.